Welcome back to Clark's Ring Rants. Let's get straight into today's video. Over the weekend, we saw Deontay Wilder beat Derek Chisora by a 12-round split decision in a really scrappy, wild and messy fight that was entertaining nonetheless. Prior to this fight, I thought Deontay Wilder was absolutely finished. He was battered by Zhang. He was comfortably outboxed by Joseph Parker prior to that. And then he had those two stoppage defeats to Tyson Fury. So I thought at the age of 40, he's been in a few wars. He's got a lot of miles on the clock. Deontay Wilder was a spent force. He didn't have the eye of the tiger anymore. And he just couldn't do it at that top level. He just couldn't pull the trigger. He didn't have that timing. But he proved me wrong here against Derek Chisora. He did a lot better than I thought he did. And in my eyes, he pulled off a bit of an upset and he scored the victory. So the question now is for Deontay Wilder, A, how much does he have left? B, what fights should he take? And C, who is he capable of beating? Let's talk about it. Just before we go any further with this video, if you could do me a massive favour and hit that like button, it really helps the channel. And also, if you're not already subscribed, I'm not sure why you wouldn't be, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Back into the video. So at this stage of the game, I think it's fair to say Deontay Wilder's not elite. He's not a top 10 guy. He's definitely not the fighter he used to be. He's not the guy we saw knock out Luis Ortiz, Dominic Breazeale, Bermane Stiverne. That version of Deontay Wilder is gone, yes. We've got a diminished version of Deontay Wilder, yeah. But is he still capable of being involved in some fun little fights, at the right level? I think so. But I wouldn't want to see him in at that top level. There was talk of the Usyk fight earlier on this year. That's a no-go. That'd not even be competitive in my eyes. Of course, you'd have to give Wilder a puncher's chance, but at this stage of his career, I couldn't really bank on him landing that punch on Usyk. Fury's already beaten him twice, 3 times in some people's eyes. Then you look at the likes of Hrgovic. Hrgovic had beat him. Moses Atalma, he'd be way too much for him. Bakole. These guys, I think they've got too much for Wilder at this stage of the game. If I'm Deontay Wilder, me personally, there's only 2 fights I'd be interested in taking at this stage of the game in the division. The first one is Dillian Whyte. Now, I really, really wish we got this fight at the time when we should have done around 2018, 2019. Dillian Whyte was mandatory. Well, he was ranked number 1 by the WBC for what seemed to be an absolute eternity. But for whatever reason, they just refused to call that mandatory. They refused to give Dillian Whyte that shot. I don't know if you can remember, there was some leaked audio. I think it was a DM, a voice note Deontay Wilder sent over to Dillian Whyte saying, I'm going to make you wait. You're never going to get your shot at me. Blah, blah, blah. It was a bit farcical. Dillian Whyte just had to keep taking fight after fight. He popped against Oscar Rivas, and then a few years later, he lost to Alexander Povetkin. By the time Dillian Whyte got his shot at the WBC belt, Wilder had already been relieved of that belt by Tyson Fury. And in my opinion, Dillian Whyte had seen better days. And it would have been a good fight. It was a good rivalry. There was a lot of back and forth. Dillian Whyte was calling Deontay Wilder out publicly. He wanted that fight. He was vocal. He was critical of Wilder. He was sticking it on him. He was giving him a bit in the press, and Deontay Wilder, he's a bit of a loudmouth himself, or at least he was in his day. So I think if this fight would have happened, it would have been a very, very good fight at the time. The build-up would have been interesting, and I think that fight would have ended in a dramatic knockout. I think Deontay Wilder would have stopped him eventually, but who knows? Dillian Whyte had that left hook. He could jab, he could box a bit. It would have been a fun fight at the time. But now, at this stage of the game, 2026, both fighters are coming towards the end. Both fighters have been stopped a couple of times. I think if either guy are going to come back, it makes sense. Deontay Wilder now, he's fought Derek Chisora over in the UK. He's got a bit of a profile here anyway, but he will definitely enhance it after Saturday night's fight with Derek Chisora. So why not come back over here? There's nothing for you in America. There's no one for you to fight there. Jared Anderson, Richard Torres, Jarrell Miller, no one's interested in them. They're not doing any sort of big numbers over in America. So why not get back over here, fight Dillian Whyte, one last hurrah. It'd be an interesting fight. I think I'd still make Deontay Wilder favourite. I think he's got more punch resistance left. He's got more power. He's still got his legs underneath him. But you know, Dylan Whyte, he could surprise us. He was in there with Moses Atauma last time and he got blasted out, but hey, that's Moses Atauma. That's a once-in-a-generation talent. But yeah, two guys coming towards the end. They've had nearly a decade-long rivalry. Why not fight each other next? O2 Arena. I'm sure it'd still do good numbers and they'd be able to sell it. Now, the obvious choice for a next opponent for Deontay Wilder, and that is career-long rival Anthony Joshua. These two should have fought, they could have fought for Undisputed back in 2018 or 2019. We all know various offers were rejected. Deontay Wilder was sat down with the DAZN executives. They offered him a great deal, a free fight deal, but he was advised to turn that down. He ultimately went in a different direction. He took on Tyson Fury for a fraction of the money he would have earned for fighting Anthony Joshua, and he lost anyway. I've got my own opinions on that. I think that might have been a bit of a miscalculated cherry pick, the Tyson Fury fights, with him coming off that long layoff. But anyway, we never ever got to see the fight with Wilder and Joshua. And now, both guys, they're coming towards the end. They've seen better days. They've both been stopped. The two former world champions. But I think it'll be a good fight for this era of heavyweights, even if we get to see it a bit later. You know, a bit like Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson. Neither guy were in the prime, but we still got to see the fight eventually. And I wouldn't still mind seeing Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. It'd be an interesting fight. Eddie Hearn has claimed Anthony Joshua's still up for the fight. The fight should have happened again a few years ago on the Day of Reckoning card. I don't get why they didn't just fight there. They waited and they just kept marinating the fight. And guess what? When you do that, fighters end up losing. Wilder was meant to have a set-up fight against Joseph Parker, but obviously Joseph Parker's no gimme. He comfortably outboxed Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua fought Otto Walling. He came through that fight easy, and that's when the fight was meant to happen, but it was derailed again. So there's been numerous occasions on which this fight could have been made, and we've not been able to see it. As for the fight itself, you know, I think this fight could be a case of who lands first. If Deontay Wilder, in his prime, if he lands on Anthony Joshua, I'm not sure if Anthony Joshua recovers, and it could be a wipeout. But if Anthony Joshua can box, he can walk Wilder down, he can take his right hand away from him, he doesn't show any fear in there, I could see Anthony Joshua getting to him as well. But he's got to hurt Wilder. As long as Wilder's standing, he's still in the fight. But if the fight happens now, a favourite. I don't know who I'd make a favourite. Has Joshua got the confidence? Is he capable of backing Deontay Wilder up? Is Wilder able to pull the trigger? Has he still got the timing on that right hand? His timing seemed a bit off against Derek Chisora, and the power didn't seem to be the same. So I don't know. I mean, Joshua's not really fought in 2 years. I don't know. Maybe I'd edge Joshua. But I'm not confident in picking him. But either way, I think that's a good fight for both guys. They're coming towards the end. If Joshua can't get Fury, why not fight Wilder? You should have fought him years ago. It's another name on your resume, another name from your era. Get it done. But let's see what happens with Deontay Wilder. Who will he fight next? In my opinion, they're the only two fights worth coming back for Deontay Wilder. Other than that, I don't see who he's going to fight, and I don't see why he'd fight anyone else. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Would you like to see Deontay Wilder versus Dylan Whyte? Would you like to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua? Or do you have any other suggestions on who you'd like to see him fight next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.